Alright, another rant video. This one is about one of my favorite consoles of all time. Um, it's not the most underrated console of all time for me. I think it's the original Xbox. But I do think that the GameCube is right up there with it. Uh, it's my favorite Nintendo console of all time. I think it's better than N64. It's by far better than the Wii. Uh, Now I'll be fair, like I didn't own an SNES, even though I really want one. That's probably if I did own an SNES, that may turn into my favorite Nintendo console of all time because it has a lot of great games on it. But for right now, anyways, I mean, at the moment, for years it's been this way. GameCube is my favorite Nintendo console of all time. I feel like it has the best games. It perfected the flaws of what the Nintendo 64 had, which was bad camera angles, a kind of, sluggish, kind of platforming. Platforming is good in N64, but it doesn't hold up as well as GameCube games because they look so much better and they play so much better. They just are much more of a brighter, better looking games. And I know graphics don't mean anything, yeah, blah blah blah. But I just feel like they're better overall games and they're better well made games in the GameCube era. And I think it has the best Mario game of the series. Of any Mario game, Mario Sunshine for GameCube. I mean that's an amazing game. I mean just that's that's up there with some of my favorite games. And it's probably debatable if it has the best Zelda games or not. Obviously, Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker. I don't think those are the best for the fans in that type of genre. I could probably give you that. I mean, the Wind Waker had a cartoony art style that not a lot of people liked. The Twilight Princess. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about that one. I mean, that's up to that to decide. I mean, maybe some people think that's their favorite, some people don't. But a lot of people say it's Ocarina of Time being their favorite. But it has the best controller. The GameCube has the perfect controller. It fits in it. You know how the PlayStation has their controller had the same design for 3 generations until the PS4. Well, this controller that Nintendo has, it should have been the same controller for the rest of the time. We should be still playing with this controller. The the Switch controller that everybody's using now, that the controller should be the GameCube controller, not the Wiz controller. The controller for the Switch isn't bad. It's just not as good as the GameCube controller. The only thing I don't like about the GameCube controller is those weird, like my only criticism with it is like the weird jelly bean buttons. They get in the way when you're playing a sports game. When you're playing Madden, when you're playing basketball, you don't know what to shoot with. So with those buttons in PS2, you knew the shoot button was circle. You knew for the GameCube, sometimes the shoot button would be B, then it would be X, sometimes it would be Y. So it was just an inconsistency. Some developers didn't know where to put the right buttons where. Though, but that controller was perfect for first party games. Third party games, it was a little bit different. Um, but overall, the GameCube was my favorite. Uh, the graphics on it were just so good. It has some of the best Star Wars games too. It has the Rogue Squadron games, Rebel Strike, and the other one, uh, Rogue Squadron. Uh, those games are amazing. Uh, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, I think. Jedi Knight or Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. Yes. I didn't play that version of the game. I have it on the PC. No, I don't PC game. That was just a old. I back in the day, I have an old PC copy, and I put it in every now and then and play it. Because that's the way I am. I old school PC game. I don't play new PC games, unfortunately, but you get it. Um, but yeah, I really liked Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. That's another innovative, creative, unique game that you pull, roll around an egg while you're trying to do it and stuff. Uh, Also, another criticism of the controller, I'm going back on that, is the Z button. It was a pointless button. I mean, it really was. It had it served its purpose for camera angles and stuff like that, but it had no really reason being there. They should have added a second button on the top. That way, it's kind of like you have your L1 and R1. That was really my criticism of that controller too, but that's really it. Just when I'm talking about the best controller, I'm talking about really the best feel. It had the best feel. It felt great in your hands. Not in terms of like where button layouts and everything was. Button layouts is the kind of a different thing for me, but yeah, just the GameCube didn't have the best button layout, but it had awesome triggers as well. Um, I'm just doing it at the top of my head. I didn't come prepared or anything, so I'm trying to like memorize it and everything. Great. I remember playing GameCube for the first time when a friend of mine as a kid brought it over, and I was so blown away. And I had a PS1 still, so I was like, oh man. And I remember I was playing SmackDown 2 at the time, and he brought over WrestleMania X8. Ugh, I got a runny nose, sorry. He brought over WrestleMania X8. I was blown away. Like, the graphics were amazing. Now, I loved that game at the time. The controls and gameplay was just awesome. I hated the career mode. There was no, like, career mode like SmackDown or anything like that. But the gameplay itself was better than SmackDown, I thought. And then they came out WrestleMania 19. I like 19, but I hated the entrances of 19 because everybody walked the same. Everybody was all stiff when they walked down to the ring. It didn't really look like them when they were walking down. So when they walked, they were like, all right, man, I'll try to imitate it right now. They would walk like this. Like everybody would walk like that, and it would look really awkward in 19. They fixed it in Day of Reckoning, but then, in a Day of Reckoning too, but for some reason, like in 19, it just looked really weird. I don't know what they were trying to do, but yeah, but GameCube had amazing wrestling games. I love all of them. I just hated the biggest thing for me was in the career modes for the SmackDown or for the GameCube games, the wrestling games. You had to win every single match. It's like, come on, like, can't I lose at least like in SmackDown? You could. It just tells a story, and you can kind of decide if you want to win or not. You don't have to win every single match. It's stupid, especially if you're doing a fatal 4-way, and if you have to have everybody down, like that's pretty ridiculous. Like that's retarded. And the AI sucks because they keep getting up when you pin someone. It's just so cheap and annoying, and I lost patience and I quit the season mode in the GameCube games. Xbox had terrible wrestling games, and I could make a whole nother video of that. But I mean, at least Raw 2 was okay. But no. Well, what is your thoughts on the GameCube, and is it your favorite Nintendo console? It's personally mine. N64 just doesn't hold up as much as GameCube's. So, but I can understand people having more nostalgia for having the N64, considering it sold better, yada yada yada, and all that stuff. So, anyways, that's another rant in the books, and I will do another rant sometime maybe next week.